We arrived in Rome by train, and then we used Hotwire to try to find a hotel in Rome. We thought we were getting a quaint hotel in the center of Rome. Well, it wasn't exactly quaint, and it wasn't exactly in the center. It was a Sheraton in the outskirts. After checking into our hotel, the very first thing we did in Rome was visit the Colosseum, and we got there just before closing, which was perfect because there were no lines and the lighting was beautiful. This is the area where they kept the animals and the gladiators, and the animals were actually lifted up into the arena via elevators. This is actually the area where the stage was, but of course, it probably didn't look like that back then. And here are the cheap seats, where the commoners got to watch the gruesome show. I saw this bird at the Colosseum that looked a little bit like a dove, and it struck me the irony, a dove-like creature in a place that had such a violent and sadistic history. I won't go into the details, but when you're at the Colosseum, you start to understand a little bit more about how the Romans tortured both people and animals. Patti took this picture. I was checking my BlackBerry from within the Colosseum. I had to go on the radio and I needed to check on a story. Well, we may be in antiquity, but we're also still in the modern age. From certain parts of the Colosseum, you can see the Arch of Constantine, which was dedicated in 315, and it was built to commemorate Constantine's victory over Maxentius. And here's Patti at Trevi Fountain. Gelato is good wherever you go, but it seems to taste better in Italy, especially at this very popular and crowded shop that we discovered in Rome. We spent the better part of a day at the Vatican, where we saw a lot of beautiful art. I really liked this room that had a lot of animals on display. As we were walking towards the Sistine Chapel, we went through a room that had a gorgeous ceiling. For a while, I thought maybe I was in the Sistine Chapel, although the artwork didn't look familiar. But of course, it was just the opening act. But in some ways, it was an even more impressive piece of art than the Sistine Chapel itself. We finally did get into the chapel and got a chance to look at Michelangelo's amazing artwork on the ceiling. It's not allowed to take flash photos within the chapel, so I downloaded these images from the internet. The big open-air plaza in the Vatican, of course, is called St. Peter's Square, and this is the building where the Pope supposedly lives. According to one book I looked at, the apartment on the top floor to the right is his home, and the one to the left of that is his study. On our last day in Rome, we hung out with Vincent and Lindsay Nguyen. Vincent is the founder of Slash Gear, and I had met him at a conference we attended in Malta just before our trip to Italy. This is us at the Spanish Steps. Finally, we boarded our plane back to the United States and flew home.
Goodbye.